Just happened. Leonor marries Prince Christian in Copenhagen. A royal wedding. Tradition. Majesty. Everyone expected a formal spectacle. Yet, today in Copenhagen, something happened no one foresaw. Leonor, future Queen of Spain, and Christian, future King of Denmark, changed the rules before our very eyes. What truly unfolded behind the palace doors? Script body. The sun rose over Copenhagen with a soft Nordic glow, spilling across the copper spires of Christiansborg Palace. Crowds gathered at dawn, flags of Spain and Denmark rippling together. For months, speculation had been building. Would this be just another royal wedding, tightly choreographed, predictably ceremonial? Or would something about this union redefine European royalty? Inside the palace, the scent of fresh Danish roses mixed with Spanish orange blossoms. Guests arrived in waves: monarchs, presidents, aristocrats, global icons. Each step was steeped in history. Yet even before the ceremony began, a whisper ran through the halls: this was not going to be an ordinary day. Why? Because Leonor and Christian had insisted on writing their own vows, breaking with centuries of protocol. That single decision created shock, admiration, and controversy. The music swelled. A hush fell. Leonor entered the grand hall in a gown that fused Spanish embroidery with Danish lace, designed not by a major fashion house but by a little-known atelier chosen for its commitment to sustainability. Why would a future queen make such a bold choice? It was a message, a promise that their reign would be different, rooted in modern values and authentic voices. As she walked, Christian's eyes brimmed with tears. This was not just a marriage of dynasties, it was a story of two young people who had known each other since state visits in their teens, who had built a relationship far from the public gaze. For years, they exchanged letters, coded messages, quiet visits under assumed names. Few knew the depth of their bond. Today, it was revealed to the world. Then came the vows. Not the stiff, rehearsed lines of tradition, but words spoken from the heart. Christian spoke first, in Spanish, honoring Leonor's homeland. Leonor replied in Danish, a gesture that melted the room. Guests leaned forward, cameras captured every tremor of their voices. And as they spoke, an old question surfaced: would this marriage truly unite two nations, or would it spark new rivalries within Europe's last great monarchies? The archbishop, momentarily overcome, paused before pronouncing them husband and wife. For a heartbeat, the hall stood silent. Then the declaration came, and the applause thundered like an ocean. Outside, the crowds erupted. Bells rang across Copenhagen, echoing as far as the Spanish embassy. Yet amid the celebration, another question formed: what happens now? Will Leonor move to Denmark? Will Christian spend time in Spain? Who will inherit which throne? Their first act as a married couple answered none of those questions directly but hinted at everything. They stepped outside, not onto a gilded carriage but onto a simple balcony, hand in hand, without their retinue. They waved to the people as equals, not as distant royals. Photographers noted there were no jewels heavier than a small heirloom tiara. Why strip away the symbols of power on their most powerful day? Because they wanted to show that their marriage is built on love, not optics. Throughout the reception, subtle dramas unfolded. Queen Letizia and Queen Mary exchanged a quiet, telling look. Former rivals in style, now mothers-in-law connected by history. Did they approve of the couple's choices? Did they worry about the future of their children's roles? Around them, European royals whispered, diplomats speculated, journalists typed. Feverishly, every answered question led to another. In one corner, Leonor's younger sister Sophia laughed with Christian's younger brother, drawing attention. Would this wedding spark a new generation of alliances? In another corner, foreign dignitaries discussed what the union meant for EU politics. Could this young royal pair become a soft power bridge between North and South Europe? Then came the moment everyone had waited for, the first dance. Not a stately waltz, but a slow, simple dance to a Spanish guitar blended with a Danish folk melody, performed live by musicians flown in from both countries. It was intimate, almost defiant. Cameras zoomed in, social media exploded. This was no mere pageant, it was a declaration of values. As the night deepened, speeches alternated between humor and tears. Christian's father spoke about duty and change. Leonor's mother spoke about courage and love. Each speech opened another window into the private worlds behind the crowns. Guests were invited to plant olive and birch saplings in a courtyard as a living symbol of the union. Why such an unusual gesture? Because Leonor and Christian want their legacy to grow from the ground up, literally. But behind the glitter, tensions flickered. Some Spanish commentators wondered whether Leonor's decision to marry before ascending the throne might weaken her future reign. Danish insiders worried about the implications for succession law. The couple, aware of all this, smiled quietly and stayed close to each other, their body language radiating unity. It was as if they were telling the world, whatever storms come, we stand together. The cameras followed them as they slipped away from the banquet to greet volunteers outside, ordinary citizens who had helped make the wedding possible. They thanked caterers, florists, musicians, security guards. Few royals have done that on their wedding night. This moment, largely unseen by mainstream TV but caught by phone videos, spread like wildfire online. "This is our future queen," one Spanish commenter wrote. "This is our future king," a Dane replied. Throughout the following hours, speculation only grew. Would Leonor and Christian become Europe's first truly bicultural monarchs, splitting their time evenly between two thrones? Would they modernize the institutions they now embody? And how would their love story evolve under relentless public scrutiny? By dawn, Copenhagen's streets were still lined with revelers. Candles floated on the canals. The palace windows glowed faintly. Inside, Leonor and Christian, now husband and wife, retreated for a moment of privacy. No cameras, no script, just two young people at the start of a life no one else has lived before. That private image, imagined but unseen, may be the most powerful of all. And so the day ended as it began, with questions, with awe, with a sense that history had turned. A royal wedding had become something deeper. A story of authenticity, courage, and the possibility of change at the heart of Europe's oldest institutions. For Spain and Denmark, for all who watched around the world, one truth remained clear: this was not the end of the story. It was the beginning of a new chapter.